Hey everybody, I'm Trevor Hess. We're going to be talking about secret management today. So we'll do a little bit of introductions. As I said, I'm Trevor Hess. I'm one of the senior product managers here at Progress in the Chef business unit. I've been part of Chef now for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in November. I've been in many different roles in my time here, from varying field roles to partner roles, and now I'm one of our product managers overseeing infra, app delivery, and marketplace integrations. And today I'm joined by Ori from Akeyless. Ori, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Happy to join this session, and thank you, Trevor, for introducing me. I'm the VP of R&D at Akeyless. I joined over 2 years ago, and I will talk about the integration and secret management in general.
Awesome. Thanks, Ori. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk a little bit about, obviously this is a very important topic for everybody now. We're going to talk about why security matters in 2021. We're going to talk about how we can enable and manage DevSecOps and the whole experience with Chef. And then we're going to have Akeyless talk a little bit about some key considerations in secrets management, as well as a wonderful demo of Chef and Akeyless working together. So in our modern world, in our modern age, we all know that security is more important and more critical to our lives and our organizations than ever before. Security seems to be in a lot of all the wrong kinds of trends in the recent years. We've seen more and more increases in exposed customer data, lots of people losing control of personal information. There's been so many reports of having to go to have I been pwned to figure out if my email has been compromised with a password attached to it, and having to go through and rotate all my passwords. There has been a huge increase in ransomware attacks across the board. We've seen it in just about every industry, as well as phishing attacks. Get at that email that looks legitimate, and it can compromise your entire security posture. And all of these things are critical concerns. They're all very challenging for organizations, but the ultimate thing that they impact is the bottom line. When you wind up in these situations where you've got a breach of any kind, that is going to be a public exposure incident for you and your organization, because at some level, especially when it comes to personal information, you have an obligation to inform your users in your community of those breaches, which will result in some people going away, some people, just that negative conversation around your organization. And we've seen it at major companies in the past several years. It feels like every week we're hearing about some other major organization who's experienced a breach of some kind. Just this year, we had the Colonial Pipeline had their big breach. There was a password on a VPN system that had been found in a list of millions of other passwords or billions of other passwords. Ransomware was able to get in on their systems and encrypted their critical systems that controlled half the oil flow on the Eastern Seaboard. They had to pay around $5 million fine, a $5 million fee to pay the ransom. And as well as all of the marketing and PR that they had to spend on cleanup. How many people had even heard of Colonial Pipeline before this incident? And then it was top of mind as we watched people going around filling garbage bags with gasoline because they were panicked that they weren't going to be able to get around and do the things that they needed to do. Why they thought a gas bag was going to be a gasoline safe container, who knows? That's not the security we're talking about today. Another example is T-Mobile. There was an insecure router on T-Mobile's network that was connected into a protected IP space that became compromised. The attackers were able to get into staging systems and eventually move into production systems, which resulted in millions of customer records being compromised from hundreds of servers. Again, impacting that bottom line, T-Mobile had to go and pay for consumer identity protection for all of their customers that were affected. And they had to hire a security firm to go through and increase that security across their infrastructure from that event. As a result of that, they're also facing class action lawsuits now. And to add insult to injury, the hacker publicly stated their security is awful. Now, all of this adds up to costly events. That, again, is a public relations nightmare for folks. It's horrible for the customers who are affected, who now have to go worry about having their identities protected. There's all those legal fees resulting that you have to manage from the class action lawsuits. It's not a good experience. And if you want to do whatever you can in your organization to make sure that your secrets are safe and make sure that all of your data and your customers are safe. So how do we get here? And why does DevSecOps matter? Well, we wind back the clock to the early days of Chef and infrastructure management tools. We provided a way for folks to safely move their configuration changes from testing and development through a continuous integration pipeline out to production. So you can make sure those changes you were making were the changes that were actually going to go out onto those systems, which was a huge improvement from having people individually going out onto systems and manually making changes. Eventually, someone's going to make a manual wrong change, and it's not going to be great. But also in those early days, we had all of these slowdowns and stopping points where we had to wait for other teams to go through their manual processes to understand and make sure that those changes that we were trying to ship, even though they were going through tested pipelines, we had to make sure that those changes were safe and compliant with the policy that our organizations defined for our security posture. So that code that was going through from those DevOps teams out to production now had a stop point with security and making sure that compliance made sense and that it followed corporate policy as it went out there. And following those as manual processes means that those changes, which are often small and wouldn't take very long to get to production, are now caught up in days or weeks of investigation to make sure that those things are following policy in a manual way. So to make that experience better, we have a tool called Inspec that allows you to take that policy that you've defined and codify it. So now you have a pipeline for that actual infrastructure change management system, as well as the compliance rules that both define the policy that your organization uses to make sure that your systems are safe and secure. Now, of course, blockers do still exist. We have all of these things coming together at the intersection of DevOps, security, and compliance. And we have to make sure that we're speaking a common language that allows us to get all of these changes out to our production systems as safely and securely as possible. So when we take all of those rules and all of those pieces and elements of policy that build out our organization and turn them into code, we can live our DevSecOps life as with a policy as code philosophy, allowing us to ship and maintain all of those different policy elements in a consistent way that the teams can share and collaborate on. So now in a policy as code world, you can take a single pipeline to ship that secure infrastructure change, those recipes and compliance profiles, ensure the safe promotion of those things using things like policy files, and make sure that they're all going through tested CI pipelines so that all of those changes to your policy as an organization are enforced and are doing the things that you expect so that your systems are safe, secure, and reliable for yourselves, for your customers, and for anybody who's using your systems. So diving a little bit further into that, we're putting a lot of focus on security inside of Chef by making sure that we're delivering secure products out of the box. We've been going through and doing upgrades to tons and tons of our different components, making sure that things are safe and secure. We added a new phase to the Chef run called the compliance phase that lets you bring that policy that you've defined in your compliance rules into your Chef run so that it all runs at the same time, and you can make sure that the systems that you're changing are actually following those rules and that policy that you've defined. And we're also integrating with industry standard security tools like Akeyless to make sure that that whole experience is rounded out and that you have a best of breed experience when it comes to managing your entire security posture all the way through to your secrets management. And that's been a huge focus that we're putting, we've started working toward this year and that we're continuing to drive through next year. And with that, I would like to have Ori kind of take over for a minute here and tell us a little bit more about secrets management, why it's important, and how Akeyless can help with that. Ori, over to you.
Thank you, Trevor. I'm going to take over and share my screen. And yeah. All right. Hopefully that you can see that now. Just give me a sign.
I see it now.
Excellent. Great. So I'm going to talk about secrets management and why is it so important, and a little bit about the integration between Akeyless and Chef. And maybe, let me just, okay. And maybe I'll start by explaining what secrets are and why it's so important. So secrets are basically small pieces of information that are used for authentication. They can be used by humans or machines, and they're typically things like passwords or certificates or tokens or API keys or any kind of key for that matter. Most of the services today, most of the applications require some kind of credentials to run or to interact with other services. So it's something that became very common. What are the risks involved with managing secrets? I think that the first thing that comes to mind is that you don't want unauthorized people or unauthorized applications to access sensitive or critical resources in an unwanted time. And you want to be able to detect when this happens and maybe take preventive actions beforehand. Also, it's important to have the ability to investigate or retrospect into security incidents when something like that happens. So you can learn about that and maybe think of preventing actions for future cases. On top of that, you want to be compliant with several security measures. When you work with customers, sometimes you want to make sure that you're aligned with their security compliance and so on. So you need to have some kind of secret management platform to manage your secrets in a secure fashion. One may think that managing secrets is easy, but let's talk about few challenges, that technical challenges that comes with that domain. The first thing is protecting data is something that's relatively known. For example, you can encrypt data and you can encrypt those secrets. But then you can ask yourself, what do I do with the key that I use to encrypt those secrets? So protecting the key is also part of that. And then you have a chicken and an egg problem, or bootstrapping problem, if you will, to protect this key as well. In our modern environments, we have lots of DevOps tools that can be used in production or staging or testing environments. And you would like all of those tools to easily integrate with your secret management platform. So it requires a lot of plugins, a lot of integrations, and you don't want to develop your own plugins for each and every tool because this would consume a lot of effort and energy. Additionally, in your development environment, you have lots of scripts and code and etc. And all of them requires integration with the secret management tool. Again, because applications require access to secrets. Secret management is considered a business critical system, of course. If it's for some reason it's not functioning, any application that relies on that to fetch secrets, any human that uses this platform in order to fetch secrets will not be able to perform what they would like to do. Therefore, it has to be highly available with a low latency and highly scalable system. And in some organization, it also requires to have a global availability, which means that you have to synchronize this data across geographic regions. All of that is a lot of effort, a lot of operations to make this up and running. And this is a huge challenge to a secret management platform. Modern environments are mixed. It can be because companies evolve. They started with on-premise databases. Now with the transition to the cloud, they have a hybrid environment. Acquisitions of companies and sometimes business decisions cause to have multi-cloud environments. And you want the secret management platform to be able to work in this mixed and challenging environment. And also, you would like to have the ability to see audit logs of each and every activity and meet the highest standard of certifications and compliance. All that are requirements from that system. In today's world, I think that you could call it a chaos of secrets, because in any environment, you have lots of tools, lots of secrets sprawled in different locations. And what adds another layer of magnitude is the cloud adaptation, the use of ephemeral services in the form of containers and container orchestrations, a lot of automations, a lot of DevOps toolchain, and the zero trust trend that actually adds a lot of authentication phases throughout the different flows. And this causes secrets number to expand and extend exponentially in the last years, which requires more and more dependencies on secret management. This is a recent report that was published by Gartner talking about machine and workload identities. As you can see, we have lots of areas or technologies that relates to that. And all of them are somewhat interacting and cross-cutting in some aspects. So I would say that the secret management here in the center talks about application credentials and how to perform machine-to-machine authentication. And we have key management, which is also a huge part of a secret management platform, as well as privilege access management and SSH and certificate automation. As you can see, lots of technologies, and in many cases, this implies lots of vendors involved in this solution. So when you are an organization that cares a lot about the security and management of your secrets and keys, you would normally find yourself selecting several technologies to meet this need. And one of our ambitions is that we will provide a unified, all-in-one solution to meet all of that in a single platform. And this basically brings to the need of a centralized secret management. One of the things that I ask people when we are talking about secret management is how easy it is to tell an individual how many secrets you have in your organization. So unless you're using a unified secret management system, it would be a hard question to answer, because secrets are sprawled in different locations. They can be nowadays in different secret stores. It can be inside your code or configuration files, and grabbing this information is something hard. Once you're using a centralized secret management, then it's as simple as seeing that in a dashboard, which I will demonstrate in a few minutes. Also, you have, as I mentioned, global organizations and lots of data centers. Some of them are on-premise, some of them are on the cloud, and all of that is being unified to a single place. And also, you would like to have the visibility in order to share with security individuals in the organization or the executive teams to see what kind of operations happen and when it happens. The advantages of using a centralized secret management are pretty clear. You have all the secrets in one place. You have all the identities management, as well as the role-based access control managed in a centralized location instead of different platforms and different configurations. And also you can enjoy advanced features like just-in-time access or just-in-time secrets, which are ephemeral secrets created for a specific session. They have a TTL that they expire after a predefined amount of time. And you have the ability to perform rotation of secrets, of administrative credentials, which combined with the dynamic secrets bring you a full suite of the highest standard of security and the implementation of zero standing permissions. A little bit about the Akeyless and Chef. Chef has lots of products. We have integrations with various products in Chef, Chef Infra and InSpec and other tools. I will try to touch on that during the demo. Maybe now it's a good time to switch, show you a quick demo. So I just sign in to the Akeyless web UI to show you how secrets are being managed. Actually, it's a unified web UI that shows all types of secrets in a virtual file system-like structure. So they have hierarchy, and you can see secrets in this case, in the root, or you can see them inside folders and so on. The types of secrets that we manage are various. We have encryption keys, and we're talking about standard encryption keys, both symmetric and asymmetric keys. Static secrets, which are the most basic form of storing secrets, which the key is actually the name of the secret and the value is some kind of structured or unstructured data that is encrypted. Rotated secrets are the somewhat of version of the static secret, which you can define a predefined schedule for which the secret will be rotated automatically according to a specific policy. Important to say that the rotation is happening on the target resource. For example, if you have a database, then we will interact with the database and authenticate to the database in order to perform the rotation, and that the username and password will be changed on the target resource. Dynamic secrets or just-in-time secrets, as I mentioned, are the ability to get temporary credentials for specific sessions. And we also support short-lived temporary signed certificate for authentication, both for SSH servers, as well as PKI, which is general for various services like Kubernetes and TLS certificates and other purposes. In order to authenticate to the secret management platform, this is kind of the way of getting access to those secrets. We have variety of authentication methods. Some of them are more oriented for humans, like SAML and OpenID Connect, and some of them are more typical for machine-to-machine communication. Obviously, if we're working on the cloud, we have the cloud native identity and access management methods. We have Kubernetes authentication method, API key, and even our own implementation. We call it Akeyless Universal Identity, which is trying to solve the secret zero problem. Like the problem that you have a service or a server or application, and this server requires some kind of an initial secret to authenticate to Akeyless. With the modern authentication methods in the cloud, we don't have this problem because there is no secret on the actual resource, just the identity of the machine is trusted and giving us the ability to authenticate. But when you're working in on-premise environment or maybe other cloud providers that are not implemented yet, the universal identity is the one imitating this logic and giving a trusted identity to the machine. As I mentioned, managing the access to secrets, the authorization part is done through role-based access control. Basically, ability to create a role, give it a name, and associate this role with one or more authentication methods, like you see in this case. And you can also rely on claims or attributes coming from the identity provider. In this case, it can be something specific like email, and it can be something like a group or anything similar to that. And the benefits of using that is that you don't need to manage users in multiple locations. It's sufficient to manage users and group and the hierarchy inside the organization in one place, which would be the identity provider to your choice. And based on that, we can give access to secrets, either in an explicit form or in form of folders or virtual folders, and decide what kind of access we want to give to them. Okay, it's basically following the CRUD attributes. There is a special deny option which will exclude access to certain secrets or folders, so you have pretty much full flexibility to perform all kind of things, and also the ability to delegate access to tenant administrators and so on. Okay. In order to gain access to resources, for example, when talking about rotated secrets and dynamic secrets, we are offering the use of gateways, which are software components running on the customer environment. This can easily be installed using Docker containers or in Kubernetes or any kind of orchestration using Helm. And this gateway allows you to have control of different targets. Let me just sign into a different gateway. You can create targets of different locations and define the dynamic secrets that will correlate using this target. It can be anything from databases, variety of databases, cloud providers, Kubernetes access. So we have lots of ways to authenticate to that. I was talking about the ability to view and track the actions and use in secrets of different kinds. So we have audit logs, detailed audit logs that shows each and every operation that happens in this account, if it was successful or unsuccessful. And you can also filter by specific actions or by specific clients or users. All those audit logs can be sent to existing log systems and SIEM systems to the choice of the user, which will make management and setting the retention policy much easier to the customers. And on top of that, the analytics screen, which shows you visual representation of the activity in form of transactions and the time it took for each one and number of secrets and so on and so forth. Integrations, as I mentioned, is something very important. The number of plugins is huge. This is just a representing subset. Each one of them is followed by a detailed documentation about the integration for Chef and configuration management tools, as well as orchestrations, SDKs in various languages, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, we have also the ability to interact directly with the resources using the secure remote access capabilities. Secure remote access allows you to access resources from either a web portal or command line interface, and basically facilitating our ability or access to secrets directly to the applications. Like you see here, we have I'm just signing in using my IDP, and I have a populated list of applications generated based on my role and role-based access control. And all of those applications can be accessible from this portal or anywhere else. As a bonus, I want to show integration with a product that Trevor mentioned before, Chef Inspect. Chef Inspect can rely on, or basically assumes, network connectivity and SSH access to the targets. And this typically means that you need to put the public key of SSH on the target side. And Akeyless offers the ability to access to SSH servers based on certificates that are short-lived, just-in-time access. And this demo over here, which I'm about to show, will demonstrate just that. So here we see that we try to connect to a service, but we don't have access, which means that the public key is not residing on the target server. And now what we're trying to do is use Akeyless in order to get a signed, short-lived signed certificate using the Akeyless CLI in this case. And in order to do that, we provide the public key and we get it signed. And now that we give a test again to the same host, and now that we see that we have access to it because we have the certificate in place. And now we can run SSH agent to facilitate the Chef Inspect. And this would hold the public key as well as the certificates and pass them to the target using the agent. Now we're running the Chef Inspect client and check different policies. In this case, it's Git installed based on SSH connection, and we see that it's true. And we can do all sorts of things using the very same method. Yeah, that's the demo in short, and I'll be happy to take questions if there are any.
Thanks, Ori. Give folks a minute to submit any questions they may have for myself or for Ori. All right, I'm not seeing any questions come in. So Ori, that must mean you did a fantastic job explaining secrets management. Nobody has any questions about how secrets management works.
Thank you, Trevor. Maybe we should hand over to Raisa.
Actually, there is one question in the chat section, Trevor, that says, what does integration look like with Chef Infra? So if that's already answered.
So Ori alluded a little bit to that during the presentation. That's something that we're working on right now. Right now, there is a client side version, but that is not the best solution that we want to have. So we're working on for our roadmap next year, a server side version of secrets management integration with Akeyless.
Absolutely. And the current documentation, even though it's not the optimal solution, is available through the Akeyless doc page in our marketing website, and you can learn about that and give it a try.
Any other question? Oh, we do have another question. Renee asks, how does NIST/FIPS dictate the use of HSM, and how does Akeyless solve this?
So HSMs are basically aimed to solve the bootstrapping problem. So basically, they give you the initial key or the seal key to allow access to the secret management store. Because Akeyless is a SaaS platform, we are not requiring this bootstrapping problem for our customers. We are acting as the bootstrapping secret management. And in this case, this relieves our customers from the need to hold an HSM. We act as a virtual HSM. Our technology, which is called DFC, proprietary technology for key management, is actually FIPS NIST 140-2 certified already. And you can learn more about it in our website under DFC.
Any other questions? All right. Raisa, you want to take us out?
Sure, thanks a lot, Trevor. Thank you, Ori. That was really a very informative session. We hope that all of you like this webinar, and if you really liked what you saw, we encourage you to share the presentation with your teammates and professional networks afterwards. We are going to share the on-demand version soon. It should, once it's available, we will email it to you, and you should be able to access it using the same audience link that you're using right now. So with that, thank you again and have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much, Ori. Thanks a lot, Trevor. Have a good day to you too.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.